Hey guys, just a quick update on what's taking place on this rainy week in South Texas. Thank you for allowing me to just share a couple of thoughts over what's been taking place. I got an opportunity last night, today is Wednesday, so that was on Tuesday, the opportunity to speak at a graduation ceremony. This is graduation time, so this is an exciting time. Just the privilege to actually gather together. Speaking to the president of the Rio Grande Bible Institute, where I got the opportunity to speak. He was reminding me and just walking me through how they did graduation last year. And obviously it was a completely different deal. I mean, from drive-ins to virtual to, but anyway, so last night we were actually able to meet in person, and I had the privilege to speak the scriptures into the lives of the graduates. And it is a unique place when it comes to the Rio Grande Bible Institute in Edinburgh, because they do have the School of Theology. So you have all this, seminary guys going through theological training, pastoral ministry, and then you get the language school, which is another group of people going into the nations as missionaries. So they come into the school to learn the language, to learn the Spanish, and then go into the nations. So it is a unique scenario. This is my second time that I'm privileged to be a part of a graduation service, and again, it was just exciting. I'm always excited to speak the Bible, to be honest with you. Anytime that I get to teach the Bible, it's just, it just brings a very special experience for me. So last night, when I get the opportunity to open the scriptures with this group of people and their families, so I gotta remind everybody that the families were there. So again, people from multiple countries, and this is a very diverse, group of people. And again, just bring the commonality of the scriptures, to see so many backgrounds, contexts, generations, mindsets, and things like that. And then we come and focus on one single thing that we are doing. So in this case, I just reminded everyone that one of the things about graduating, moving into the next phase, after navigating not only theological school or training school or language school, whatever you're graduating from, typically you finish the race because you kept the win, you kept the non-negotiable as kind of at the bottom line, as never to negotiate. Because if you negotiate, in this case graduation, in this case the completion of your studies, you're not going to make it, you're not going to graduate. So I kind of are reminded of those things, and just as they move into the next phase, again, whether it's going to the nations, whether it's going to and planting churches or serving in established churches, whatever they might go, this graduates, I just invited them to keep the end in mind. From a Bible, from a scriptural reference, I made the reference of the Great Commission. And I used the Great Commission just to kind of ignite a conversation and launch, the experience and the awareness of how Jesus went about commissioning the disciples and the apostles into this brand new experience. And yet, as they moved into the unknown, as they moved into something that they have never seen before, and I'm speaking from the empowerment of the Holy Spirit, Acts chapter 2. I'm speaking from the reality that this is the resurrected Jesus. Never before they walked with the rabbi, they walked with the teacher, with the miracle worker, but for the first time, this is Matthew chapter 28, the Great Commission, they're faced with the resurrected Christ. And then obviously this is the one part that we all know from the scriptures. Eventually they're going to see Jesus going up to heaven. So the ascension of Jesus, all of these things are going to play an extremely important component on keeping the end in mind. So again, going back to the Great Commission and going back to Matthew 28, I wanted for our graduates to remember, and this is the thing that I want to just convey to you today, and somehow this is helpful to you, to your family, to the rest of this week as you continue and as you fight to keep the main thing. Especially for those who are launching into vocational ministry. But if you're a stay-home mom, if you're a student, still you haven't graduated, if you are fixing to get married, you're going through maybe, retirement, whatever you may find yourself, I think the perfect model of someone who keeps the main thing is Jesus. And this is why in the Great Commission, after he shows himself before this group of believers, this group of disciples, which by the way, the Bible does record, this is Matthew 28, beginning in verse 17, it records that within the appearance, within the Jesus showing up, some of them worship and some of them doubted. And right after this, again, diverse reaction of the presence of Jesus, he goes straight into reminding them of the main thing. Now, most of us will think that the main thing is actually verses 19 and 20, which is the therefore go and make disciples. Go into the nations. Teach them to obey, baptize them. And then it goes into this entire, again, commission. This is why it's called the Great Commission, something that we've been given as a mandate. This is what we call the imperatives. But for me, and again, speaking to the students last night, for me, the main thing was not, or is not, verses 19 and 20. I think those are crucial. I think those verses are necessary. I think you and I, we are here today as believers because men and women in the past, they went, they gave, they sacrificed, they make disciples. We are the result of generations after generations of people who actually obeyed the Great Commission. The folks from last night, they are ready to go. I mean, you can see it in their eyes. They are excited. They've been trained, invested. Now it's time to get into the real deal. And I'm all for those things. But I believe the win, the non-negotiable, the bottom line of the conversation in the Great Commission, and that's the thing that I tried to convey last night, is not the actual going. It's verse 18. If you were to open the Bible right now and you look at Matthew 28, verse 18, right between the appearance, which is the previous verse 17, the appearance of Jesus, some worship, some doubted, the disciples. And then that's one side. The other side is the actual mandate, go and make disciples. Verse 18 to me is the epicenter of the reason why Jesus showed up before them. He appeared to them as a resurrected Jesus. And then this is the reason, verse 18, why they are commissioned to go. The bottom line is verse 18, where he says, all authority is given unto me. All authority is given unto me. We are a generation that we are a little hesitant with the word authority. We have seen it being abused. We have seen it being manipulated. We have seen it in kind of a negative connotation. Some of us, we come from backgrounds where tragically that context of authority became or it was experienced as oppression. And again, I try to be sensitive to those perceptions and that understanding. But the beauty of the scriptures is that the scriptures is never the validity. The veracity of the Bible does not depend on your experiences, my ability to believe it or doubt it. See, the Bible remains true in spite of what you and I think or believe. So I'm not minimizing where you come from. I am not disregarding your understanding and your feelings. But you and I, we're not authority. The Bible is authority. Jesus is authority. So in this case, the gospel, Matthew, the writer, he is basically conveying the words of Jesus and saying, all authority is given unto me. So again, last night I was trying to remind everybody that if they're going to, and then I move into Timothy to illustrate the point, which I'm not going to do it right now. But if they, as a generation of graduates, again, missionaries, pastors, young couples, elderly, whoever they were, and they were in the audience last night, if we're going to be the generation that we are not going to negotiate the non-negotiable, if we're going to be able to stay focused on what we're supposed to do, then we have to come back and remind ourselves that the main thing is not, once again, the main thing is not the going. The main thing is not that they worship. The main thing is not that they doubted. Those reactions, those experiences, the eagerness, the passion, the equipping, the training, the desires, the calling, those things are important. And I'm not against those things. But I'm going to say it one more time. the epicenter of the movement of the world, the movement of your life and my life, is based on the authority of Jesus Christ. The beauty of this empowerment that Jesus gives to these individuals 2,000 years ago. Number one is that it worked. I mean, 2,000 years later, against craziness and again, just going to Timothy, into the dysfunctionality and the brokenness of false teaching and false doctrine infiltrated in the church, against an oppressing regime of the Roman government, against, I mean, you name it, all the things that have been and are against Christianity. The reason why you and I are here is not because we came to our senses and we said yes to the gospel. See, that's the result of the authority of Jesus. The reason why the church is here, the reason why you are here, I am here, is because of verse 18. It's because of the authority given, imputed to Jesus Christ. Now, obviously, Jesus from day one, and I'm just rehearsing in my mind, going back to Philippians chapter 2, Jesus is a missionary. And Jesus showed us before he was restored into cosmic lordship, which is what verse 18 is, is that restoration of his authority. Jesus, the preamble of that experience for him to proclaim that all authority is given unto him, is exactly Philippians chapter 2, where he detached, where he literally gave himself, when he lowered himself, where he literally became a man and then a servant and obedient, and his obedience was obedience to death. And what type of death? Death of a cursed man. So you see the progressiveness, not just of what Jesus did, but who Jesus is. And he's a servant. So all that I'm trying to say is that verse 18 is the declaration of who he is, not just what he did. So all authority is given unto him. And then as he declares his authority, he imputes, he literally commissions this man and women, verses 19, verses 20 of the Great Commission, then to go and make disciples. I'm going to say this one more time. It was an amazing experience. I'm forever grateful and thankful for institutions, seminaries, Bible colleges. We pray for them. We as a nation in the United States, we're going through so many changes, and they are coming our way, sociologically, governmentally. I mean, you look at it from educational perspective, from financial situations, and yet churches need leaders. Churches need pastors. The world needs the gospel. The church is being commissioned to go and make disciples. Let it be a reminder tonight on a Wednesday night that this going, this passion that you may feel, this desire that you have to serve, to go, to give, to sacrifice, needs to be based on the authority that belongs exclusively to Jesus. Thank you so much for connecting. We will talk to you next time. God bless you.